Right, I see y'all coming in. God's desire. What's up? What's up, God's desire? I'm trying to read the chat. Sorry about that. Made by Tammy. What's up, baby sis? I didn't think you were gonna be able to get off. That's why I went ahead and just doing me a little pop up today. Let's say some hellos, and I got Zay, my son, helping me out with the audio today. Let's get some shout outs to some folks coming into the live. So we got 14 in there now. Let's see if we can speak. Made by Tammy Sherrill. I can actually see this thing right now. What's up, G Mama? You know, usually I'm out here trying to do this thing live. Uh, how's the signal? Am I getting any glitching?
You're good on this end.
All right, all right.
Mm.
So y'all know I got my new little Wi-Fi system set up for the garden. So I think I'm showing out a little bit. But we're getting ready to head out, catch a flight, and just wanted to just do a little quick little pop up. I got my garlic that's going to be going on sale when we get back. We've been working on that, and here's some of the. Y'all know how we did it last year. Just that elephant garlic. So this is a pound right here. So I'm just showing everybody what we're gonna be working with when we get back. What's up, bro? I see you, boy. So this is a pound. Right now we got 60 pounds. Right now we got 60 pounds of the garlic. So we're definitely going to have enough. And what I'm going to do when we get back, and we'll be back on the 19th, I'm going to do a live from the garden, and we're going to do it TikTok style. So we're going to do for all my loyal neighbors, my neighbors. I'm trying to see this thing to where I can see the chat. For all my loyal neighbors, we're going to give you first opportunity to get the garlic. Last year we sold out within 2 weeks. This year I want to make sure that all my loyal neighbors, my good neighbors, make sure that they get a piece. I think I got a little shade down here. Broke. You already know every time I come out here and I see you in the live, bro. Hey man, these lemons are going insane. Look at that. They're going insane. So I'm really feeling this, man. Look at all this new growth happening. That's crazy. Yep. And this here is another ponderosa here. And I'm speaking directly to Broke right now because he's the citrus man right now. He's the citrus king. But look how beautiful these things are. And I'm going to show y'all what this mix is when I get back. I mean, these things have just exploded. Look at all the new growth. They have just exploded. This is a this is a eureka here. And that's a ponderosa. Look at all that new growth. They just jumping with the new growth. It's that Miwa kumquat. She got fruit on her and flowers. She got fruit everywhere. So it goes back down to this right here, baby. That soil. That ain't that 511. That's a growing out the box mix because I be doing too much. That is a growing out the box mix, and that's organic potting mix for your citrus. We're gonna be removing this one, and we're gonna be doing some grafting onto my Ponsaris trifoliate. So we're gonna try in at some grafting, not only on this one, but even this baby in the ground over here is doing some stuff too. Look at that new growth on this. And we're in Georgia Zone 8A, growing that citrus in the ground. That's a brown select satsuma right there. So we're gonna be taking, I think I'm gonna take this branch right here off and try to graft it. That'll be my first time doing grafting. So my rootstock have already taken. The rootstock comes from this here. That's the Ponsaris trifoliate. And basically what I do is just come here and I take these off and I root the ends of this. And then we're going to go ahead and try to graft onto it. So this is going to be a new venture going into into the summer. So we're doing a lot over here, man. Just trying to grow this thing to the next level. I'm over here in the shade, and it looks pretty decent over here. What's up, Mike's Chaotic Gardener? I can actually see over here. This is all right. Turn the camera around. What's up, Mike's Chaotic Gardener? Oh yeah, and we got the new growing out the box hats in. Yep, got the new growing out the box hats in. Fitted. Yep, fitted all the way around. We got all the different colors we can mix match. So we got a lot of stuff going on right now. Growing flames and fire. What's up, my brother? Got G Mama in here. Go ahead and highlight some of these things and speak to me. I got my son in here with me today. Tam is not with me, but I got my son in here, so he's gonna be reading some of the chat. But as it is right now, I can actually see this because I'm standing over here where trees kind of blocking the sunlight. Normally I can't see. So I really was just coming in, just testing out my signal. Like I said, we're all doing our lives and broke. I might rock with you on that your lives on the evenings, man, because now I can get out here in the garden and move around and I don't have to worry about the glitching and all. Got this nice little piece that I got out here that's set up and it doesn't do any glitching. So put y'all over here and let y'all see these peanuts jumping off.
We do have a question coming in from a Lynn Biggs. Hi there, new watcher. I want to try your seed starter process next video. Funny enough, was just on Amazon looking for those 32-ounce cups. However, don't need 400. Can you recommend where to get less?
Uh I actually, well, y'all know about the tariffs and all that going on. I actually had some of the cups that are already designed with the 2-inch holes at the bottom. But of course, I'm just a small man, so my little money don't carry like everybody else's. But we'll actually have these going, and I'm hoping that we'll get them before the fall. So we'll have our root training cups that are coming in. Uh, when they're coming in, I don't know. That's a good question, but we will have them. The 32 ounce with the holes already made into them. They are not the styrofoam. We got some food grade plastic that we're going to be using. And I know some people are going to say, even with the plastic, that's not good enough because you can think about the microplastics and all. But until we can come up with a different way of doing it, that's what we're going to be doing. Any other questions in there, Zay?
Uh, Lena Jordan, what gallon pots is your lemon tree in?
Uh, don't make me lie to you. I just went over to I went up to Lowe's and they had these things on sale, so I just kind of propped them in there. Uh, so I don't even know what size gallon it is. Let me see if I can turn this around. Yeah, I don't know what size they are. It's probably on the bottom somewhere because it had like the little trays on the bottom, and I took the trays off to be able to get the drainage. But I'm gonna show you guys. Like I said, you can see the big pieces of pumice that I have in there. That's not perlite. That's pumice. So my mix is basically the mini pine bark nuggets, or as I'm learning now that we could use fir bark, even for my blueberry growers. Nobody's able to get the mini pine bark nuggets, which I have the mini pine bark nuggets that I'm going to be selling on the website as well, growingoutthebox.com. But fir bark, and it's pretty much I think that's the succulent. I think it's called a succulent mix is what you find that fir bark in, and that's pretty much better than the mini pine bark nuggets. The lignits in it are better than the pine bark nuggets because they break down longer. They take longer to break down, and they are acidic. And it's again, it's the fir bark that you're going to be looking for, and the fir bark is available. Matter of fact, I was at Lowe's today, and let me see if I turn. Matter of fact, I was at Lowe's today, and Lowe's has uh, the bags for $6. So that's going to be something that I'm going to be transitioning over to with the blueberries as well. But that's part of what I'm using in these citrus blends. And I'm telling you, man, this citrus thing, I am so excited about what's going on with this because When I put those things in this, and they kind of struggled a little bit from the beginning, and then all of a sudden they just took off. Just new growth started happening everywhere, and then you start thinking maybe the new growth is going to offset some of the flowering, but no. This Miwa kumquat showed me. Let's see here, hitting wrong buttons. But yeah, the Miwa kumquat showed me that she's gonna flower too. And not only is she gonna flower, but she's gonna put on fruit. This thing has fruit all over it. And this is the Miwa kumquat. And I know Broke has, I believe, two of these. But this thing has fruit all over it, and it flowers over and over. So it continuously flowers throughout the season. And again, this is the
We
Eureka. Go ahead, son.
we also have another question from Growing Flaves and Fires.
Hmm.
Anything you recommend planting right now that will last us through fall and winter? I have a whole lot of empty space with those rows you told me to make.
Okay. If you got some beans to go in the ground, right here. These are just coming up. And these are purple hull peas. Purple hull peas will handle this heat, and they'll go all the way into the frost. And this is my second round of the purple hull peas. You can see I still got the old ones up. And what'll happen is the purple hull peas will come up, then they'll attach on to the old vines that are here, and it'll help them stand up off the soil. So purple hull peas you can put in. You got your got beautiful those leaves are. And these are my icicle radish. You can put the icicle radish in. As a matter of fact, I got some of the pods over here. Let me see. And this is what I tell everybody about. You can eat these pods. So you can grow the radish year round and eat the pods in the summertime. And then as you go into the winter, you just reseed and they come back up again. But that's the icicle radish you can go with. Um, the contender beans. I got more contender beans coming up over here. That's a good one. I eat lots of beans because I don't eat pork or beef, so lots of beans. And let me show y'all. I know y'all want to see this. This is what's that right there? That's that black cherry. Yep. This is just one of them there. And they handle the sun pretty well. So we've been getting a lot of rain. So I'm having to switch up how I'm growing right now because the rain has been coming in and just I mean we've had rain pretty much what for the last 2 weeks. We had a break today and I think a break tomorrow. Then the forecast has 7 more days for rain. So this thing is about juggling, you know what I mean? You got to kind of make it up as you go. And that's really what I love about this whole journey of growing, you know what I mean? It makes you think on your feet as you're coming up with little different things. Um, Go over here and I'll show you the other black cherry. These here are also black cherries here. This one here is a little further than the other ones. See them down there. Yeah, I got some eggplants. What I came out here to do today really was to harvest this Japanese eggplant. And down on the bottom, this is how you can tell. This is one of the little tricks that I like to do to see what the health of my plants are when it comes to insect. If you plant the bok choy down here, and depending on how the insects get a hold of your bok choy, that's going to tell you what your pest pressure is around the garden because they're going to eat this bok choy before they get to any of these other plants. So right now that bok choy is looking pretty decent down there, which tells me that this bed does not have any caterpillars or anything that like that in it. So that's a telltale sign. You can use the bok choy as like a ground cover going into the winter. And then again, this is another one, Flavor and Fire, that you can use going into the fall. Plant you some bok choy. Just put it on some cover because you got a lot of shade in your back. So the bok choy will do real good for you down there. So we'll get another question.
We got a question from Chris Gilmore. Do you grow garlic corms the same way you grow garlic cloves? If not, what do you do differently?
My garlic corms, and I tell you, that's the secret to my whole garlic thing. I started with 56 cloves. What was it, 3 years ago? And right now I'm probably averaging, I want to say close to 600 cloves. And the reason why that is like that, because I started using the corms. The corms takes, if you plant a corm this year, it's going to turn into a round next year, which looks like an onion. That year you'll replant it or just leave it in the soil and then it'll split the following year. So it takes 2 years from corm to round to a bulb. So you're looking at a 3-year investment. But for every garlic bulb that you have, you're going to probably have 6 to 10 corms on the bottom. So you quantifying your harvest every year, and that's what I did for the past 3 years. So I went from 56 cloves up to over 600 cloves in 3 years. So you do just stick the corms in the soil, just let them stay there, and the next year they'll come up as a round. You don't have to really do anything to the corms. We got another question in there.
We have a new watcher from North Carolina, Zone 8A, Pamela Stokes. Welcome into the gardening community.
Thank you. Welcome, neighbor. Welcome, neighbor. And we call them neighbors over here. We don't call them followers or subscribers. We call them neighbors over here. Um, you got any
Eh,
other questions in there?
We have Nancy Saxon. You always talk about the radish tea. How do you make it?
Well, I was advised. I was advised probably not to speak on the radish tea. And the reason why I was advised of that, and that was some, I think it was some pretty good legal advice that I got, is because as the channel starts to grow, of course, we as content creators, we have to be mindful of the type of information that we're putting out there. So while the radish tea may work well for me based upon my current health circumstances, it may not work well for someone else. So I've been I've been reluctant on even talking about the tea of late because I was advised that that may not be a good route to take for the channel. Um, everybody's into the suing and trying to see what they can get out of the next man, and I'm just a little small guy trying to have something, so I can't afford to really have any dings in the armor right now because things are going real smooth, and just having some good people in my corner, that kind of giving me a little advice on how to best move forward without a lot of hiccups. And one of those was, don't be telling people to take nothing, especially when it comes down to health and medicinal stuff. So I'm staying away from advising on the medicinal stuff. I can show you how to grow it. I can, but I'm just gonna stay away from it. That's about all I'm gonna say on that. Thank you for asking though. Any other questions we got in there?
We have Wooden Joe. Thank you for your videos. They help me a lot. And right now we have 83 people watching. Can we get
Yeah,
some likes?
yeah, there's some likes up in there because the more y'all like it or share it, you know what I mean. The more y'all hit the likes, the more it gets shared. So I know the other night we had 100 and no, we had 217 in just on a pop up, and that's all I've been doing, just pop ups. Because what I'm trying to do now, and y'all know, growing out the box, you be doing too much. I don't want to do anything like everybody else is doing, so I'm always push the envelope a little bit, and sometimes that means, making things a little rocky. It may not go well the first few times, but the biggest thing, and like I've always said to everybody, even starting out on your gardening journey, the biggest part of growth is being uncomfortable and maybe doing some things that don't work as well and just figuring out what does work and what does not work. So from our first few lives, which my guy called them trashy in terms of quality, I was able to get this new Wi-Fi system set up out here. So now it's just a matter of the imagination. I can do whatever it is I want to do out here in the garden. So this is part of what I'm talking about growing. It's more about growing than the garden itself. So I'm gonna turn this around a little bit, let y'all see our uh, sweet potatoes. These are the sweet potatoes y'all watch me put out here, and look how beautiful those things are. And this is the Georgia Jets. If you in a Flaves and Fire. This is another thing that you can grow. This is an 80-day sweet potato. The Georgia Jet is an 80-day sweet potato. So you can grow this now and still get you a decent harvest. What I would suggest is to grow more of them as opposed to doing what I did. I think I did 5 slips in each one of these barrels here. But if you were going to do it, I would do 10 to increase your yield, but your potatoes may be smaller because you don't have as much time. But the Asian's going to take anywhere from 105 to 120 days. The Georgia Jets are 80-day sweet potatoes. So you got enough time to grow the Georgia Jets and still get a good harvest. I mean, look how healthy these plants are. These things are beautiful. And these are the ones we just planted. You see, they're trying to catch down here in the soil. So I'm gonna end up having to snip the tips of them, and we're gonna end up having us a little stir fry. Bro,
Blaze
look
and
at this.
Fire actually
Go
has
ahead.
another question. Is there still enough time to grow sugar snap peas?
Too early for sugar snap. Yeah, yeah, it's too early for the sugar snap peas right now. The sun will eat them up. They don't do well in the heat, so you want to wait a little while for the sugar snap peas. I usually do them like maybe the end of September going into October, so you'll get a head start, and then you still run the gamut of them being too hot, and then the plant just doesn't do well. They'll just stall out on you. But the sugar snap peas coming into September, and that's pretty much what I'm prepping for now. Everything that I'm doing now is prepping for our September. So we have, go back over here. Man, I'm loving this signal. Give me some thumbs up if this signal looking good to y'all. Give me some thumbs up in there. Yeah, let's see here.
We
Now I can't.
also have another question as well.
All right, hold on 1 second. These are
Gotcha.
some more beans that you got right here. And these are Blue Lake, believe it or not. These are Blue Lake, and I didn't think the Blue Lake would do well this time of the year. But you see these babies putting on. And this is my second round with the Blue Lake. So sometimes you could just push the envelope. I'm never going to say what can't be done. I'm just going to say what makes the most sense based upon my experience. And again, the Blue Lake, I didn't think they would do well this time of the year, but they're coming in really well. Um, this G Mama here, I have to show G Mama this one. Look at that G Mama. G Mamas grow hard in the garden. That's that Amory. And we're gonna be showing y'all too some things that I wanted to show you guys because I'm going all in. And we're gonna be speaking at a event in Atlanta on September 20th. And I'm gonna give you guys more details on that. I'll be on a panel for sustainable home gardening. And I want to thank Patricia over at uh, her site for inviting me out to that. But here is what we have. I'm trying to see what this is. Our Mexican sunflower. Tithonia diversifolia is what this is. And you can see down here, I can cut all 4 of these, just stick them in the ground. You don't have to do anything to it. Just stick it in the ground and they're going to reproduce. So the Tithonia diversifolia over here, some Bocking 14. So broke. Watching you, man, I had to get me some of this comfrey. This is the Bocking 14, which is the sterile version of it, the Bocking 14. So I got 5 of them in here. They're just coming up. And the reason why I'm showing you guys these, along with the amaranth, the Bocking 14, the Mexican sunflower, we can do what they call a fermented plant juice. Let me see if I can turn this around. We can do what's called a fermented plant juice, and we can grow anything out here. So that's what I've been using of late. I've been mixing those together, creating the fermented plant juice. But those who like what Miss Linda would call the super juice, and you don't really care for that smell, the fermented plant juice is the answer to it. Basically, all you're doing is just doing equal parts of your greens, whatever material you want to do. Because I got the comfrey for the potassium, I got the Mexican sunflower for the nitrogen, I got the flowers and the seeds from the amaranth, and that's going to be for my phosphorus. So I got an even blend mix, and it should be somewhere around a 5, 4, 4, something up in that nature. You can feed your entire garden with this for free. Just grow the plants. And then when you really want to go into it, I'm gonna be showing you guys how I make the fertilizer with the peanuts, and that's a 822. So this is my peanuts here. How beautiful those peanuts are going. And I'm gonna show you how to make a meal out of the peanuts. All these are fertilizers, and we're talking about just being sustainable, just being able to carry ourselves without having to depend on the big box store. Because while I'm not a Debbie Downer and I'm always a guy that's half full, my glass is always half full, it's never half empty. I'm always thinking about the positives that can come out of a situation. We're about to go through some things. Some of y'all may already be going through it, but we are about to go through some things, and there has never been a better time to learn to grow than right now. And that's what this whole journey has been for me. It's not about the garden. That's why growing out the box be doing too much, because I'm trying to double time my pace and learn as much as I can about growing as I possibly can. So the garden is just a way to get to the growing, but my mission right now is to learn how to grow as much as I can to be able to sustain myself in every way that I can. So that's what my fruit tree is about. That's what my amaranth is about. That's what the just being able to grow everything out here, the blueberries, things that you don't have to plant over and over. They'll come back every year. It's time to get serious, people, because the writing is on the wall, and we have to start paying more attention to what's going on. And like I said, I'm not a Debbie Downer. I'm not one to look at the negatives that's going on, but what I am saying, the positives of it all, we have to learn how to grow. This is not a yesterday. This is not a tomorrow. This is a right now. We have to learn how to grow. And everything that I can do within my power, I'm going to be here for you. And we're going to share as much of this information as we possibly can, because this is part of what my journey is. So let's take a couple more questions, Aneze.
We have a question from T. What things would you advise using to amend your soil once the growing season is over? And also, thank you for the advice you gave me on ripening your tomatoes and avoiding them splitting. Appreciate it.
Oh, oh yeah, definitely. Yep. Just putting them in that bag and letting that ethylene gas kick in. Um, Cover crops. My guy David Corey with the crops, he introduced me to fava beans. If you are not growing fava beans is something that will grow, and I grew them last year thanks to David Corey with the crops. So I give him the props. David Corey with the crops. I'm gonna always shout him out, just like I shout Mike's Chaotic Gardening out every time I show those fish peppers. Miss Linda when I show my moringa, Miss Linda when I show my butterfly pea flowers. I'm gonna always give credit to the people who inspire me the most. Broke with the citrus, you know, watching him with all of his citrus now. I don't want no 100 plants, so I'm not trying to do 100 citrus plants. But what I do want is enough to be able to sustain myself. So with my citrus, like I said, I got 2 citrus trees in ground in Georgia, Zone 8A. Got 4 of them that I would have to take back in and out. But to your question again, if you want to do something to keep your beds, because you got to keep roots in the soil. That's the biggest part of this whole thing. You got to keep roots in the soil. There should never be any bare soil in your garden. if you're trying to do, and I know Broke always have a problem when you say organic gardening. So I'm gonna get away from that whole organic gardening. I'm gonna just say natural gardening because that makes a little more sense. We can do natural gardening. That means being as close as we can to trying to be organic and working with what we have to make things as best as we need it to be. So cover crops, fava beans. Fava beans will grow down to 15 degrees. I grew them last year, and my fava beans that I put in October grew. They got knocked down by the cold, and they came back soon as that sun came up. Soon as we came into the spring, those fava beans came up. So fava beans would be one. Little marble peas is another one that you can use as a cover crop. And I'm going even a step further this year because I actually am going to be growing alfalfa over the winter. I already got my alfalfa seeds. All I got to do is just lay my little plot out. So we're just doing everything that we can sustain ourselves. So next question. Next question.
Let's see. Saprinus Sigler. Something ate my sweet corn. Can I start over?
Nope. It is too late for corn. If you have not gotten your corn up and going by now, you might as well wait till next year. That's a done deal there. Corn is something that you got to start early in the season, which I don't grow, but you got to grow early in the season to get that corn going. Sorry to say that, but no, that's not going to work.
And the God Divine One. When is the best time to start growing watermelon?
I wish Broke was up here because he the watermelon man. I don't grow watermelon. I, if you haven't noticed, everything in my garden has borders. I don't like anything to travel outside of its borders. I guess I'm a little OC. Nikki go say, yeah, you're a lot OCD-ish, but yeah, I guess I'm a little OCD-ish with how things are. I don't like things coming out of its place. I like to have everything in its borders. That's why everything, even the peanuts that are actually in the ground, they have a border. I don't want them coming out that border. So when I come down and I weed eat anything out of that getting chopped off. So I can't tell you I know anything about growing. I don't know anything about growing watermelon. I never had an interest in them. I've never. I just never had an interest in them. Just too much work, too much space, and not enough meat. It's just not enough meat for me. Sorry, I can't help you with that one.
We have another question from It's the Why from me. My plum trees aren't doing anything, no growth, but scratch test shows they're still alive. Any suggestions?
Uh, what are your leaves looking like? Are you getting chlorosis, like yellowing around your veins? That's something that you may want to consider. Because as a matter of fact, I just fertilized my plum trees the other day because these are the same ones that comes from growingoutthebox.com. And what you want to be careful when you're doing this, and I don't want to say this sparingly, uh, Epsom salt, a 2-gallon watering jug, and a teaspoon of Epsom salt. That's not something that I say often because you can really abuse that and it can lock up other nutrients in your soil, and which will make things even worse than what it was when you started. But a teaspoon of Epsom salt is what I just gave my plum trees the other day. And that's just to give them, this is their first year in. This is my first year. This is the green gauge here. Yep, that's the green gauge. This is a yellow Shiro, and this is the best looking one that I have right now in terms of the ones that I just put in this year. And like I said, I just gave them some Epsom salt, some fish fertilizer, and some more bloom. The fish fertilizer and the more bloom, you can pretty much do the same, I think it's 4 tablespoons per gallon of water. The more bloom, you have to be really careful with. I would not do more than a teaspoon for a gallon of water, but I do the more bloom, the fish fertilizer, and the Epsom salt. And that's what I feed my plum trees. That's another question there.
This one's not necessarily a question, but I know you probably have a good. suggestion for them. O'Kee's California Gardens, my blue butterfly peas from Baker Creek Seeds also do not germinate, but I only planted a few. I'll try more next time.
Yeah. Matter of fact, butterfly peas. It's one of my favorites there. Now, this is something that this is the butterfly pea flower. That's the one you're talking about. And I have those all over the garden, and they're just not starting to climb. Now, if you're not hot enough, that could be the reason why. They don't germinate well inside. They're going to take the hot days. You can try and germinate them unless you got and all of this is butterfly pea flowers. See all of that. It's butterfly pea flowers. They just don't do well inside. If you try to germinate them inside, they don't do well, and they gotta have that heat. They love the heat. It's the butterfly pea flower. I tried to germinate some of them in the house. My heat mat is my heat mats goes up to I think 75. That just wasn't good enough, and I got two of them to sprout, but I come right out here and spread them out here in the soil, and within 3 weeks, every last one of them popped up. So that's my conclusion on the butterfly pea flower. They got to have the heat. That's pretty much the answer to growing those. And I got them everywhere. I got the white, the uh, the purple or blue, and the pink. I didn't plant the white and the pink this year, but I think I'll get to them next year. The other
One of
question?
our neighbors is having a birthday today, is TR Reset. It's my birthday. Hope all is well and everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep on gardening.
Well, happy birthday. Now, if I could sing, I would, but don't make me do it because I sure tried. Happy birthday to you. Yeah, so, and you got any other questions in there? Because I know last time we tried to do a question and answer, and and I was waiting on Tam to come up, and that just went south real bad. So, but you know what? Things happen. We make the best of it, and then we move forward. That's how we do over here. I don't dwell on what didn't go right, what didn't go wrong. I'm gonna make the next move, and we're gonna keep moving forward. So that's what this is about. From all the mistakes that we made in trying to do this live thing, this is what we came up with: quality video footage that we can do live in the garden. So I'm not even gonna tell you the plans that I got coming up because coming into maybe going into the fall, we're gonna have a full fall garden out here. Let me take you over here to my little squash cage because I haven't been able to do a whole lot to it, but I am proud of this little project right here. It's my little squash cage here. So we're not dealing with no insects, the squash vine borer and all of that. We're not dealing with that this year. So I'm gonna be planting my squash when I get back. So we're gonna oh yeah, squash, growing flames and fire. You can grow squash. Squash can still grow this time of the year. So but what I'm gonna be doing is I'm growing my squash in this netting here. Squash cage is what I'm calling it. And I can put some plastic on this thing going into the winter and we can second as a greenhouse. So we got plenty of space in here. Got the zippers on here. I got the rocks that's holding it down all the way around. So you know, growing out the box always gonna be doing a little too much.
We
Another
have
question.
another question from Always a Lady. New grower tomato plants growing tall, flowering, but no fruit. What's wrong?
Could be the heat, depending on how hot it's been where you're at. Tomatoes, unless you're doing cherries or one of the smaller tomatoes, they just don't do well in this heat. That's what's to be expected. The plant's going into survival mode. When you get up into those 90s, upper 90s, 95 to 100, she's just going to shut down. She's in survival mode and she's trying to reserve all of that energy. But what's going to happen is, as soon as these temperatures start to drop, watch her kick in. You're gonna have a good harvest for the second part of the season. Just keep it alive. That's your job right now. Just keep it alive. But when you're doing, you see these right here. These are cherries. These are my black cherries. This is what I go to going to the hottest months. I don't even try to grow any large tomatoes during the hottest month. And look how healthy these plants look. You don't have to do a whole lot to these cherries. This is a black cherry, and the leaves, they handle that sun very good. There's nothing that you can do to really destroy them. The same thing over here, black cherry. That's the only thing that I'll grow this time of the year. Um, my Mr. Sharpies are still hanging on. My Mr. Stripies, I'm sorry. My Mr. Stripies are still hanging on, but they struggling. Yeah, they struggling. They still putting on fruit. Let's see here. This is my Mr. Stripies. They still putting on fruit. They still growing, but they struggling. That's just not what they do. They just don't do well in this heat. So my only mission now is just to keep them alive, and maybe I'll get a few more tomatoes off of it. But if not, it's no real big deal, because we'll be moving on to something else going into the fall. Got my marigolds down here. These are African marigolds here. Got another question in there?
Speaking of fall, Fatima asked any ideas for what to try for a NYC first timer for fall gardening.
Wow, New York. Um, what kind of space do you have? That would be my first question. Depending on the space is how I would advise. But pretty much collards. Collards do extremely well. They'll go down to into the teens. Broccoli will do well down to probably 20 or so. Um, what's another one? Kohlrabi. Uh, yeah, it just really matters about the space that you have. Really, if you got enough space, there's pretty much all the same thing with the carrots. You can go into the fall. But again, I'm not real familiar with how New York weather is because it gets pretty rough down here in Georgia zone 8A because we've been getting down into the teens and single digits a couple of years back. But that's what I love about this lemon tree that I have behind me. This lemon tree has been down to 8 degrees, so she's a trooper right here. So this is a Ponsyrus trifolia, and it'll get down to -10. So it's just a matter of finding what grows well in your grow zone. It's hard for me to kind of say what grows in New York because I've never grown up there. I can only tell you which plants would do probably decent, but based upon what I'm doing down here. Got any other questions?
Not a question, but definitely interesting. It says from G. Rogers, it's 113 degrees and all of my tomatoes are begging for help.
Oh man, you might as well put them to bed. I mean, a hundred, 113. Oh my goodness. Now we had a heat index of 106. Matter of fact, we had a whole week of the heat index into the hundreds, but we haven't tipped the actual temperatures because again, if I come over here and I show you, and I hate to do this because you just said you're getting 100 and 100 and man, my peppers. Oh, I'm shining. I mean, I'm still getting groceries, so my garden is still pushing off like I mean, there's nothing that actually feel like I said, my tomatoes, the big tomatoes kind of sputtered out on me, but I don't even look for the big tomatoes to do anything. So that's why I don't plant a lot of them. I focus more on the cherries, but the peppers, even the bell peppers, and these are mini bells here. I don't have a problem with that. And again, my regimen also with this is the fish fertilizer, the more bloom, and the Epsom salt. That's what keeps these things going. And I'm not just saying one of them, all of my peppers, and no matter what bed I go to, there's nothing, none of my peppers are struggling. You see that? This is paprikas. It's paprikas. Mike, here you go, Mike. Look at that pretty baby there. That's the fish peppers. Mike's Chaotic Gardening. That's where I got these seeds from. See how pretty that is. And she is loaded down with peppers. Loaded down. This thing created an umbrella this year. That's something that was new to me. But yeah, I don't. Every one of my beds, I can go to any of my beds, and I'm still producing this stuff growing like crazy. I mean, it's just everything's still growing. I
You
know
have
all of
about
them.
5 minutes left. You want to take one more question?
Yeah, let's take another question.
Miss A said, "What should I do about my compost bin? It looks too scary and nasty to stir. Do I continue to keep adding things?"
Well, my advice on composting is thermophilic. I don't do cold composting, and that sounds like what you're doing, cold composting. Thermophilic composting is the safest compost that you want to have. You're going to go through a mesophilic phase, then it goes through the uh every time I just said the word thermophilic, mesophilic, thermophilic, back to mesophilic, and then you're basically starting to settle down. But you want to take it, that compost needs to go to at least 130 to 150 degrees to kill all pathogens and weed seeds that are in there. I don't do cold composting. I don't advise anybody to do cold composting because there's just too many things that can go wrong. You get foul smells, you get insects, rats. With the hot composting, you don't have any of those problems. I can take grass clippings along with my Mexican sunflower, the comfrey, mix all those things together. I can take some shredded cardboard, mix that with it along with some leaves, and in 18 days, I got usable compost. So that's how simple it is to make compost. By trying to do it the lazy way, we overcomplicate it and we actually make more work than we actually than really is necessary. Hot composting is the way to do it. I mean, it's just so easy to do. You got to have a nice little designated area to do it in. But as far as cold composting, I don't recommend it. I know a lot of people do it because they may not have the space or it's convenient, so they think. But once you learn how to hot compost, you will never go back to it. And that stuff that you're getting out of the big box store does not compare. How do I know? Because I got microscopes. I got a microscope that I can actually see the bacteria and the fungi in my compost. And when I compare it, and I wouldn't do that because then you start talking about a whole lot of other crap that comes into play. But I put my compost next to some of the big box store compost that I've been using for years, and I claimed that it was pretty good. And I didn't see the results of what I thought was in that compost. Not until you learn how to make your own compost are you really going to see the benefits of a resilient garden. Because that really is what this is about. It's about building a resilient garden. Even with the citrus over here, that's part of that is compost. Biochar also. I'm using biochar. I would be remiss to even say that I'm not using biochar. That is one of the secrets. And I like starting things off, taking it through a whole year's process before I tell you guys about it because I don't want to tell you something and then you try it and then it does not work. So biochar, that's biochar is in all these citrus mixes. Biochar is in all these citrus mixes. I'm giving away the keys. I'm giving the keys away to the house. Biochar. Biochar. If you got anything that has to do with living soil and you got a charged biochar to put in it, you can't go wrong. That's what's making these plants jump the way that they do. That's what's taking my plants into 105 degrees and they're able to withstand it. See if I can. That's what's taking my plants into 105 degrees and they still able to withstand it. All of my beds now have biochar mixed in them, and I'm even going to be doing that with my blueberries coming up. So biochar, really get up on the biochar because that is that's the hidden jewel that I've discovered over the past year, and I've been using it. And man, like I said, more cherries. These are tomatoes here. Like I said, the big tomatoes they're gonna sputter out on you. But if you got cherries, and these are sweeties here, These are sweetie tomatoes. These things will grow for you all year round until the winter comes in. They'll keep producing sweetie tomatoes, and they taste totally different when you growing them like this here. Here was our more of our amaranth. I mean, we're doing a whole lot, man, and it's I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna put you up on everything that I'm doing. I'm not one to hold things back or tell you what I'm not gonna show you. Everything that you're looking at, I'm gonna show you the difference. This tree here now, that's a brown turkey fig. I did not fertilize that this year. Now I'm gonna show you another brown turkey fig. They're the same age, and this one I fertilized. This is the same tree put in at the same time, and it's doubled in size in this year. They were the same size last year. This one I fertilized, that one I didn't, because I wanted to see what the difference of using that compost and that biochar, mixing it together along with that Mexican sunflower, the the amaranth, the grass clippings, the cardboard, my own compost. Oh yeah, it's like that all around it. Like I say, I can take you all around the garden, and it's gonna be the same thing everywhere you go.
Yes,
I mean,
sir. So much knowledge to share. Unfortunately, we are wrapping up on time.
right. So appreciate you guys just hanging out with me on the pop up. We're gonna be getting back to it, and we're gonna be doing the garlic live. So we're gonna put a live link for the garlic up, and if it's gone, it's gone. What did I say, 60? I think we had 60 pounds so far. And we still in there bagging it up because I got a lot of that I haven't even cut down and put in the bags yet. So thank you guys for coming checking out. We about to head out to France. Our flight leaves on later on this evening. We're gonna be doing some. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do any lives from over there because I don't know what the signal is gonna look like. But we'll definitely be recording some footage from over on the land that we're gonna be at. Over in Pau, France is where we're gonna end up at, and we'll be over there for a few days. So we got a little something we're gonna be showing you. So going out the box, going international. Peace.